YouTube? Topaz Jace back for another daily review, and this one is that Joey Badass Land of the Free. And I'm giving this one the yellow light because I definitely enjoyed the lyrical content, what he's ultimately talking about on here, because he definitely gets deep, especially on a day like today. Ultimately, it's not inspired by this whole Donald Trump thing. It's more inspired by Martin Luther King's birthday and such. It's just a little bit late. And you can definitely tell that because of his first verse, man, because in there, he's ultimately talking about his desire to speak for the people, which is ultimately us, like Martin Luther King once did. Like, he feels as though the ancestors are trying to channel their voices through him, and he's trying to use his platform to actually enact change and such, man. And you know, that's not something that should be brushed off your shoulders, because there has been numerous accounts, especially when they be recreating these slave movies, where individual black actors playing these slave roles and such, man, they end up losing themselves and losing their own reality and begin to channel somewhat what an actual slave had to feel at that particular moment. I mean, because there's just one thing that I really refuse to believe, is that a vicious crime against one particular people that happened so long ago, that energy that happened from it, all of the wrongs from it, that doesn't like go away, man. The world has a way of bringing everything back. And then Joey Badass closes out the first verse pretty much reminding us as a people, man, that we have had to endure over 300 years of oppression here. And we're going from slavery to segregation to Jim Crow to all of that, even up to now, because we are still oppressed to this day. It's more refined, but yet they're going back to that old school Jim Crow right now with them putting in Donald Trump and all of that. And honestly, that's one key reason why a lot of black people are really upset about Donald Trump winning and becoming the president or whatever, man, because now you have to legitimately face the fact that there has been no progression, and in fact we went behind, man. Now in the second verse, Joey Badass continues to go deep with this, man, where he's ultimately talking about how the system is completely designed against us. And this is absolutely true, man. Like, all of the laws that you see out there today, a lot of them came from slave towns, man. And here's just the real talk, man. This whole prison industrial complex that we seeing out there right now, where people getting paid so much money just to imprison all of our people, the foundations were laid for this as soon as slavery ended. See, prisons wasn't all that heavy before the Civil War ended and all that, man, but yet as soon as the Civil War ended, all of this stuff started to pop up at the same exact time, dude, and there was no coincidence to any of it. And then Joey Badass starts talking about how our history has been stolen from us ultimately, man, and that's completely true for multiple reasons, really, because here's the thing: if we could actually trace back our bloodlines to exactly what parts of Africa each individuals of us are from, then we could legitimately get dual citizenship, one, and two, get some actual allies internationally, man. But this is one of the reasons why they only teach slave history with us and how they hide where exactly we're from, because don't get it twisted, some people out there know exactly where individuals came from, dude. See, slavery was rather particular, man. They had to go to certain regions in order to get certain types of slaves to do certain things. Like, you could find the best cotton pickers from this particular region of Africa. You could find the best bed wenches from this particular part of Africa and such, man. And people know this. And if you were to cross-reference that with the actual list of slaves that were being sold and such from all of these towns that was straight off the ocean and stuff, man, you can actually begin to trace back people to Africa. But yet that's something that they'll never let people know, man. And then he ends out this verse as well, talking about how we as a people are struggling so hard, and when we struggle, they try to force religion on us and everything, man. Like, you struggling so bad, you just gotta pray it off of you, man. But here's the reality of it, man. This world is run by the wicked. Like, me personally, I'm a very spiritual type person, but I understand what type of predicament that we are in right now, man. Praying to get it off of you is cool, but yet ultimately we gonna have to put in this work in order to get it up off of us. But yes, some very deep lyricism here, man, but I feel as though that production just wasn't very strong. And then I also feel as though the hook and that pre-hook, man, that was ultimately just an extension of a verse or whatever that just constantly get repeated. Like, he didn't really put forth the maximum amount of time necessary to create a quality product here. He just wanted to put something out that was super deep, and I definitely did enjoy it, but I feel as though it could have been stronger. But a quick recap, man. The positives that I'm taking from this, man, is the lyricism. I definitely enjoyed a lot of the things that he's talking about on here, and it all has some super deep meaning to it. The negatives is it wasn't a great song. But this concludes today's review, and now we're going to jump into a brief instrumental from underground producer Reef Hustle Music before we jump into the news and then jump into an article from downloadpads.com. So you know, I wanted to give my 2 cents on this Trump inauguration and all that, man. It's funny how they really didn't show like a sky view from it, from what I hear, because I didn't watch that crap. But from what I heard is that people really didn't show anything because a lot of people just didn't show up for this, but they trying to pretend like it was so deep out there, which I'm not shocked at all. I know there was a bunch of protests. I actually did see the protests of a bunch of white people in mass going up and breaking glasses at like a McDonald's or a Bank of America or something like that, man, which that's very interesting. Really didn't see them get labeled as thugs or anything like that, man, like we would. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpads.com, and today's article is about making your own name in the music industry. And I bring this up because not long ago I listened to a mixtape from Lauryn Hill's son, and the thing about Lauryn Hill's son is that his whole gimmick is the fact that he's Lauryn Hill's son. Like, he's not really focusing on creating his own name with his own brand of music and such. He's trying to benefit and piggyback off of his mom's name. And you know, I'm not entirely that mad about that because you use whatever you got in order for you to come up, but yet in the end, you want to create your own name and stand on your own accord. See, here's just the real thing though, man. If you are forever going to be tied to a legend and such, people are always going to bring up their name whenever they bring up your name, then ultimately you're not ever going to stand out on your own. Ultimately, you're never going to overachieve in this game, man, because you're always going to be thought back to your father. But look at this through the light of, say, Steph Curry, who has become one of the best basketball players in the league. He was definitely top 2 basketball players of last year and such, man, and he has constantly improved and did better for his own right. Like, to the point that people tend to forget that Dell Curry was his father. His entire style and such, man, has been completely unique to him, and he revolutionized the game pretty much based on his own 3-point shooting. And that's what you need to strive towards, man, if you have somebody in your family that actually did something, instead of just trying to come up off of them and eat off of their name. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.